month ago when my school staged a walkout to protest against our gun laws. My speech that day was more politically fueled, a sort of call to Congress, telling them what I think about our current laws and what I would change. But I'd like to stray away from the politics of it all for just a little and talk about us, the people. Did you know that on any normal day, 96 Americans are killed with guns? Or that on average, there are nearly 13,000 gun homicides a year in our country? And lately, I know we've been talking about the possible solutions, but I would like to call attention again to the problems. What's the origin of this issue that has plagued our country? Most could agree that guns, or our current gun laws, are the problem, but you'd be lying to yourself if you said that that was the only component to this mess. This is not just a gun control issue. This is a mental health issue that is greatly affecting our kids. 20% of youth ages 13 to 18 live with a mental health condition, and 10% of our youth have a behavior or conduct disorder. Teens who suffer from mental health conditions often have a hard time expressing how they're feeling. That can be frustrating and lead to leaving their symptoms untreated, and even if they've reached out to help, it is in most cases extremely hard to find a place that will treat you well while also being covered by your insurance, if you have the insurance. And there are a lot of kids out there being misdiagnosed by others and even by themselves just because they don't have anybody to talk to. We need to be kinder and more attentive to our kids, our friends, and our family members. It should not be as hard as it is in this country to get some counseling that will simply make your life better and help you function and keep moving forward. It is ridiculous that the well-being of the people isn't a bigger priority where we live. Kids should not feel ashamed or scared or alone because of how they are feeling, and they shouldn't feel like they can't tell anybody what they're going through. We need better access to mental health treatment and medication, and we need to be kinder to one another. Everyone deserves to get the help that they need, and everyone deserves to feel normal. I know we're here today because of the Stoneman Douglas shooting and the Las Vegas shooting before that and the Orlando shooting before that. Disgustingly, it's become so many that you begin to lose count and sometimes forget that some ever happened. They're broadcasted nationally and you hear about them for weeks. But I want to address gun violence as a whole. I want to talk about the shootings that aren't given as much coverage. The shootings that you almost never hear about are the ones that happen in predominantly black communities, or shootings that only involved a few kids from the neighborhood, the ones that happen by mistake.
Go, girl!
Guns kill about 10 times more black children than they do white children each year. Gun-related deaths, injuries, and homicides are higher with teenage boys than with teenage girls and younger boys. I think this has largely to do with the glorification of guns and violence among teens. I know plenty of kids who own guns and show them off, and their parents don't even know that they're in possession of them. More and more teenagers think it's cool to have one, think that it makes them tough. Some kids even brag that they've killed or injured other people, or that they have no problem doing so if they needed to. The idea that you need a gun in order to be respected and have street cred is overplayed, sad, and dangerous. All these kids are doing is putting themselves in harm's way, getting themselves into trouble, and setting a bad example for the younger generations. We shouldn't be teaching kindergartners and first graders that it's okay to have a gun at 15 years old. They don't need to be exposed to this kind of violence and thinking. They should know that guns are dangerous, they're for adults, and they are not to be used as a toy or to murder someone in cold blood. America's youth has this ongoing love affair with gun violence, and it's time we lay that to rest. This disease that America has made us feel unsafe in schools, churches, concerts, movie theaters. We now have a sense of constant fear in the back of our minds that something bad could happen anywhere at any time. And we can point our fingers at the lawmakers and the people in charge all day long, because in the end, their laws have fueled this fire, and they're the ones who will end up making the changes. But we should really be pointing fingers at ourselves too. There are a lot of things that can be done in our neighborhoods and communities, a lot of changes we can make in the ways that we think and interact with other people. This isn't just one problem, and it won't take just one solution. What I spoke about today is a mere brushstroke of a painting that depicts our nation's self-destruction. What we need to do besides change our attitudes is educate ourselves, keep the conversation going, and vote when the time comes. We have to keep talking about this, and we have to make sure that change is made. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said that our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. So we don't become silent. Instead, we honor, we remember, we educate, we reform, and we take action. Thank you.